And we are live, guys. So welcome, girls of high value, to another live stream from Oslo, Norway. My name is Joseph Darling. What we're going to talk about today is how to massively increase your chances of falling in love, but also keeping that love forever. Because it's not enough to just fall in love and then fall out of love and then move on to the next guy, fall in love, then fall out of love again, and then go on to the next guy and fall in love and fall out of love again. It's like, how many times do you actually want to do that process? Like, optimally, the best thing would be if you fell in love. It was magical, sparks everywhere, and then you stayed in love forever in the same guy, and you created a beautiful family with beautiful kids, and then you lived happily ever after. Now, that would be the princess story every girl should want. But unfortunately, it's not. It's the exception more than the rule. And even then, once they're married, a lot of problems starts happening as well. So we're going to go through that a little bit. First of all, we need to understand that men were designed by the universe to be masculine. Women were designed by the universe to be feminine. Both start out feminine, but very importantly, actually, I'm going to show you this chart because I showed this on my other channel the other day and it helped quite a lot. And let's see if I can bring it up here. Okay, so this is a chart that shows testosterone levels between boys and girls from the ages of 0 till 20 years old. And on the left side, you'll see the male, and the testosterone levels are measured in nanograms per deciliter. And you see on the right-hand column, you'll see the females. So let's just explore this one. From 0 to 5 months old, you see males have 75 to 400 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in their bodies. The production is way higher than a female who has 20 to 80. From 6 months to 9 years, wow, it's pretty much exactly the same. Exactly. So they have both 7 to 20, and it stays like that during their childhood years, so that they're both feminine. They're both basically learning the rules of the game, the rules of life, and basically adapting to the setting that they're in. If boys during this time had massive amount of testosterone, they're like, yeah, we don't want to see that. But it also wouldn't make sense that they would have that because it comes from their semen production. Okay, so from 10 to 11 years, you see boys now begin to grow. You have 7 to 130, while girls 7 to 44. And then you see now something happening in their teenage years. Boom. Suddenly, 12 to 13-year-old boys, this is within normal ranges, okay? So there's exceptions to the rule on each side, but these are normal, healthy levels. Boys spike up to 800 potentially. Some actually wait completely until 15 years old before they start growing their massive testosterone levels. But look at girls. They stay from 7 to 75 all the way to, what do you know, the rest of their lives. That's a normal testosterone levels for girls. Okay? So between 7 and 75 for girls, and for men, basically from 15 years old, they have 100 to 1,200, which basically means that men in general have 10 times the amount of testosterone, sometimes 20 times the amount of testosterone levels as girls do. This is nature. This is normal. This is healthy. Okay? And you don't want to mess around with this by using medication or trying to, just don't do it. Because it hinders the feedback that your body needs from nature to give you feedback of what's going on. So, in general terms, if we know that men are supposed to be masculine and women are supposed to be feminine, and men have massive amounts of motivation capacities, then we should allow men to develop a massive amount of power. Okay? The reason why we want them to do that is because the universe, again, has designed us in such a way that women are turned on by men of power. That's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now, this could be power in terms of, oh, wow, he's got a nice car. That's power. It actually would turn a girl on, even though the power in its, like, the car itself is not why she's turned on. It's just that if he has that car, then that must mean that he has abilities in other departments of his life. If he has muscles, if he has strength, power. If he's able to lift you up, power. If he's able to dance, wow, look at that guy. He's got power. If he's on stage in front of a large crowd and a large crowd is cheering him on and clapping and wow, power. Do you understand? This is how women function. They function on the lines of being turned on by men of power. So if a man is confident, that means that he has the ability to do, which is the definition of power, by the way, which makes it very easy then for you to fall in love. If there's a man who is stronger and more able than another man to do something, you will automatically be attracted to the guy who has more power. This is very often what happens if a girl basically gets two guys to fight in a bar. This happens, by the way, okay? Now, fortunately, you're not at that level yet where you've seen it, hopefully. But in nightclubs and things like that, this happens where a girl actually, she's not the one responsible, okay? It's the guys who are emotionally unstable and they're jealous at each other and they both want a girl. And basically what happens is that they start to fight over the girl. Now, what a waste. I know. But what ends up happening is that that girl will always choose the guy that won. Simply because he had more power. Now, she might be very caring towards the guy that lost, especially if the guy that won is not interested in her, or if she's heavily emotionally involved with the guy that lost in general, and she hates the guy for punching her love of her life. Do you understand? Like, there will be different circumstances, but in general, the woman will be more turned on by the guy who has more power than the guy who lost. Does that make sense? So, that's how women function. That's how you function. I'm talking to teenage girls here. If you know this from an early age, that you will forever be attracted to men of power, then you can basically make choices early on in your life to make sure that you get a guy that has a lot of power. And if he doesn't have a lot of power, please make sure that he has ambitions. Meaning that he will do anything moral, legal, ethical to get more power. Again, the definition of power is the ability to do, the ability to take action, the ability to take massive action, hopefully. The power is also another word for potential. Potential power. Potential comes from the word potens, potential. And potens basically means that he has the ability to do. Okay? So, that's it, knowing that. If you know that, then you can take the necessary steps early in your life, just like I said. So, what are some things that you can do to prepare for this? You know that men have an emotional need. We're designed with an emotional need to feel powerful and to grow and to become. And we're motivated by the fact of a beautiful woman cheering us on, and that we could be potentially rewarded by this beautiful woman if we excel and compete against other guys, which we love to do, by the way, and no hard feelings amongst guys in terms of competition. And then we actually succeed and we basically hit the lottery, but it's not a lottery because we had to grow, we had to change, we had to become, and then we get the girl of our dreams. Fantastic. We have an emotional need for that. Women, on the other hand, like I've mentioned again, have an emotional need to be sexually involved with a man of power once they reach the age of fertility. Natural. What could you do? Well, simply put, this is like, feminists would absolutely hate me for saying this, but it's true. You should find a guy who is better than you in pretty much all aspects of your life. Because if he's not as good as you, then you would be turned off when he tries to do the thing that you're supposed to do. Let me give you real life examples. My wife and I, unfortunately, I was not taught to be a handyman. I was never given tools. I was never asked to put up any heavy furniture or to screw things or to fix any appliances or to do anything like that. I was the youngest child in my family, which was kind of an artist family, which meant that basically the culture of the family was boys being feminine and girls being masculine. Caused a lot of problems, I can assure you of that. But the point of the matter is, not blaming my parents, they did a fantastic job. Okay, they did the best that they could with the understanding and knowledge that they had. But cause and effect still happens. And so in terms of me, in terms of not being able to be a handyman, my wife, she had been taught and raised living with her father and then learning how to be a handy woman. So in our house, whenever there was something that needed to be fixed or put up or anything, by habit, she basically, raised her hand immediately, said, I'll do it. And then she kept doing it and fixing things so I didn't have to do it. But then eventually she got 3 kids and then she basically found out that, man, I just have too many things on my hands and it sucks that you are not able to fix things. And then she looks at me trying to fix things and then she's like, no, you should be doing this and this and this instead. Does it turn her on? Or does it turn her off to see me not being able to do something that she is able to do? My point exactly. This is in every single aspect and category of life. If you're in a relationship, if you are the one who's leading the relationship and he's the one who's needy and emotional and wants to be with you more than you want to be with him, that means that you have more power in the relationship, which means that he has less power in the relationship. And does that turn you on or does that turn you off? It turns you off. Well, what do you know? Interesting. In terms of, let's see, taking care of kids. Now, obviously, you might not have come to that stage yet. Talking to teenage girls, I have to remind myself continuously, even though I'm talking to women of the entire world, I want to raise up a generation of teenage girls who understand life, understand men and women and the dynamics in family, etc. But in terms, if you have kids, in terms of me, okay, my wife spends most of the time taking care of the kids and taking care of the household. And she will do things differently than I do. So if I come in and I suddenly want to now do the dishes, then I will do things differently than she's doing it. Now, she will feel that she has more power than me because of the way I'm doing it, so that will turn her off, and she'll ask me to do it her way. But at the same time, doing it her way will also turn her off, so I need to find a better way of doing it better than her in order for it to continuously turn her on. Does that make sense? The best thing would be if I found some help and actually hired help to basically help her. Now, that would turn her on more because it would alleviate her burdens, and he had the cash to pay for someone to work for him. Amazing. Power. Exactly. Taking care of the kids is the same thing. If I do something that hurts the kids, then she believes that I have less power than her in terms of safety measures, but I need to show her that I have more power than her because I'm willing to take risk and the kids are actually still safe even though I take a little bit more risks with them than she does. Do you understand? So this is the kind of tricky subject, but it's so clear and obvious once you understand the principle that, yes, please send me a man. Okay, I'm talking on behalf of you here. Send me a man that is more powerful than me in all aspects of life. That is basically what women who want to fall in love and stay in love should be praying to God for. Now, obviously, this is very tricky because men suck. They suck a lot. And unfortunately, we've not done a sufficient enough job in teaching men how to be men of power. Now, we can blame religion for a lot of this because I seriously believe that in the Bible there's been mistranslations that basically have said that men shouldn't go and seek for power and power corrupts and it's very bad if men get power. I think that's a hoax. I think that's basically God. No, not God who put that in the scriptures or whatever you want to call those books, but that it's Roman Catholic Church, and in the old age, not today's Catholic Church, okay? The old Roman Catholic Church were really bad, okay? In the age 300 years after the birth of Christ, whatever. It might not have even been the Catholic Church. It might have been Constantine, the emperor, who basically adapted the Roman Catholic Church and said, yes, we'll use that religion. Even though he had no interest in that religion at all. He just wanted to use that religion to control the people so that they would basically, be good slaves, and do what he wanted them to do. And what ended up happening is that there must have been tweaks in the Bible that have basically caused men to believe that it's bad to have power. No, it's not bad to have power. It's fantastic for men to have power as long as they use it for good. You want good men to become massively rich. The reason why is because it will help everyone. Because rich people invest their money. They don't stow them away and give them to the bank or bury it in the ground. They invest it. And which means that the more they invest in other people and other businesses and products and services, the more it elevates every single person's performance in the marketplace and brings us all out of poverty. Fantastic. If everyone knew this, everyone would say, thank you, rich people, for blessing our lives and helping us to bring everyone out of poverty. Exactly. But women and feminists out there very often don't see that full picture. And therefore they're like, no, the rich, they shouldn't be allowed to be like that because they want to feel equal. Women want to feel equal, which is great. And I completely agree. But that search for equality will eventually end up making it so that these women will never find men who are more powerful than them. And they end up settling very often because, hey, no one wanted them when they turned 35, 40 years old after a year of career chasing. And then they find guys who are not powerful, but who still likes them and loves them. And basically, they end up having a wonderful lesbian marriage. Yeah, I'm serious. Where the girl is the man in the relationship, and the woman, the boy, the man, basically enters the marriage and lives a life. And I'm quoting Henry David Thoreau. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Those are most relationships today. It's a problem. But if we can understand this concept of men should seek for power and to improve themselves in every single area of their life and have massive ambitions and think big, while women focus on the things that spread joy, laughter, games, dancing, songs, and develop their talents, oh my gosh, the world will be a completely different place, and I can assure you of that. This is the Girls of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll speak to you again tomorrow.